Tashi Delic. And welcome, everyone, to another deep dive of the Tibet GPT podcast. We're back, by popular demand.
We are, and really aiming to cover, well, both sides of a story that's kind of unfolding live as we speak.
Exactly. So, usually we look at maybe more formal sources, but today we're doing something a bit different.
Yeah? What's that?
We're diving straight into the comments section, the raw, unfiltered stuff.
Okay. From that specific YouTube video, right? My side story, To Much Blame, by Choesang95, uploaded just, yesterday?
That's the one, hundreds of comments. So it's really fresh, like a snapshot of a community just grappling with this in real time.
Right. And our mission, so to speak, is to figure out the core issues.
Yeah.
The reactions.
Yeah, exactly. Understand the issues, how people are reacting, and maybe, what this whole thing tells us about online stuff in general.
And the names that keep cropping up are Choesang95 and Sela. They seem to be central.
Definitely. Those are the two figures everyone's talking about. And wow, the comments are intense. Really strong opinions.
And in both English and Tibetan, you mentioned.
Both languages, yeah. It shows how engaged people are, but also how divided they seem to be.
Okay, so let's try and unpack this. What seems to be the main conflict here? What kicked it all off?
Well, it looks like a very personal dispute, between Choesang95 and Selha that somehow just exploded into the public domain.
Oh, online.
Totally. And the comments are full of accusations flying both ways. We're talking lies, financial issues, emotional manipulation. It's messy.
So not just a simple disagreement then. Are people taking sides?
Oh, absolutely. It's quite polarized. You clearly see sort of two main camps forming in the comments.
Like Team Choesang and Team Sela.
Basically, yeah. One group strongly defends Choesang95. They often describe him as, wronged, maybe honest, but naive.
Victim narrative, kind of?
Sort of. People saying truth will prevail. Some even sharing little stories, like saying he's a good father, that kind of thing, to back him up. They tend to label Sela a liar or someone playing the victim.
Okay, and the other side, Team Sela.
Right. They're just as strong in their support for her, and their view of Choesang95 is pretty harsh.
No.
Calling him a scammer, money-minded, fake. People are questioning his actions, like why he deleted old videos, pointing out inconsistencies they see.
So lots of scrutiny on him.
Definitely. And there's a lot of sympathy for Sela, too, with people suggesting she's the one who's been mistreated or maybe controlled in the situation.
You mentioned financial issues earlier. That seems to be a really big sticking point.
It really does. A huge chunk of the comments revolve around money. Alleged scams, misused donations.
Donations, like from viewers.
Yeah, there's mention of donations, for example, from someone called Swiss Achala, and specific disputes, too, like arguments over 100,000 rupees.
Wow, specific number.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it was returned, how it was returned. The interpretation seems to differ wildly depending on who you ask. Plus, just about jewelry, even house registration in Nepal.
That involvement of viewer donations, it adds another layer, doesn't it? Blurs the lines.
It really does. It shows how invested audiences can become financially and emotionally. But it also brings out some cynicism.
How do you mean?
Well, you see some commenters getting quite skeptical, calling YouTubers professional beggars, that kind of sentiment. It taps into a broader distrust, maybe?
Yeah, I can see that. With all these strong feelings and accusations, the language must be pretty intense.
Well, it's incredibly charged. Very emotional language. People are using really strong words.
Like what?
Well, in Tibetan, the word kuma pops up, which means something like thief, a really serious accusation. And in English, you see liar, narcissist, shameless used quite freely.
It's thrown around.
Exactly. And people are directly challenging sincerity, accusations of fake tears. It's very direct, very personal.
Sounds brutal.
It is. And someone even compared it to a Tibetan version of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case.
Really? That's serious.
That comparison tells you how significant some viewers see this, right? Like it's this major drama playing out. Clear sides, heroes, villains in their eyes.
Okay, so this is obviously more than just, some online spat. Are there deeper themes emerging from all these comments, things that stand out?
Definitely. If you kind of zoom out from the immediate back and forth, some really poignant things come up. One big one is concern for the children.
Ah, yes. The kids involved.
Yeah, commenters repeatedly express worry. They talk about potential mental torture, how difficult this must be for the kids, presumably Choesang95, maybe Silas too, at school, in their lives. It's a stark reminder of the real-world impact.
That's really sad to think about. Anything else?
Well, there's a strong presence of cultural and religious references. People mention HH quite a bit.
Likely His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Almost certainly, yeah. And there are accusations about using that reference inappropriately, which, carries a lot of weight in the Tibetan community.
So that adds another whole dimension.
It does. And then you also see appeals to Buddhist values, karma, compassion, truth, people urging kindness, less judgment, invoking their shared Tibetan identity.
Trying to find common ground amidst the conflict.
Exactly. It shows how deeply rooted those values are, even when things get this heated online.
With all the conflicting stories and strong opinions, do people seem to be looking for, like, actual proof or the real truth?
Oh, absolutely. That's a definite undercurrent. You see lots of comments saying things like, I still don't know who is telling the truth. People are confused.
So they want evidence.
Yes. There are calls for concrete proof. Someone mentioned a GoPro video suggesting it might hold answers. Others even suggest maybe legal action is needed to sort it all out, to get some kind of objective finding.
That's interesting. And what about people claiming they know the individuals personally? You mentioned neighbor accounts.
Right, that's another layer. You get comments from people saying they're neighbors or they know the situation firsthand, like that user at Tenzin Orden 4203 describing alleged fights. Aggressive behavior.
But we have to take those with a grain of salt, right? Online claims.
Exactly. We can't verify any of that. It just shows how complex it is trying to figure out what's really going on based on online accounts. Fact versus hearsay.
So, stepping back again, what does this whole episode, this comment section analysis, tell us more broadly? What are the implications?
I think it's a really pertinent example of online community dynamics, how quickly sides form, how echo chambers can develop.
Yeah, people reinforcing their own views.
Totally. And it highlights these parasocial relationships that connection audiences feel with creators. When that gets disrupted by conflict like this, the reactions are super intense because people feel personally invested.
Right. It makes you think about how we engage with this stuff online.
It really does. It underscores how difficult it is to find objective truth online, especially with personal biases and, let's face it, the performative aspect of a lot of online content.
Yeah.
It raises questions, doesn't it, about the responsibility creators have when their private lives go public, but also about our responsibility as the audience and how we consume and react to these narratives.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive into these YouTube comments shows, well, a really complex, highly emotional online dispute. It's got clear divisions, money worries, cultural elements woven in, and real potential impacts.
Yeah, and the search for clear truth in it all. It's incredibly challenging for everyone involved, viewers included.
Which leaves a thought for you, the listener, doesn't it? In this digital age where personal stories play out so publicly, how do we approach them with, discernment, with empathy? And what happens when we get too caught up in the drama?
Exactly. And on that note, thanks everyone for your incredible support. It's been amazing launching this AI-powered Tibetan YouTube channel with your help. This is really just the start, and we're excited to bring more meaningful, innovative content to our community.
Definitely. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and join us on this journey.